All right, welcome everybody to 2Rich2Miss Unscripted. We are back in the building. It is Monday, October the 19th on the East Coast here in Virginia. It's a sunny day outside, and we have an action-packed show for you today. We are going to be talking about all of the news that's happening over in the world of crypto. It's always something going on. We will be obviously going over the markets that are in the green as of the recording of this video, and always talking about DeFi, talking about a couple of things that's going on in politics, how all of that kind of matters in the market. Going to briefly talk about the little Bitcoin ETF and what the smart money is doing. And we got and what the analysts are saying is a potential crash coming in the stock market as well. And I'll be talking about that also, and how I feel and how I think all of this is going to affect the cryptocurrency markets, and what I think we should be and could be doing right about now. Obviously not investment advice, but just providing a real solid, different perspective on what's going on. Let's get it. Welcome to 2Rich2Miss Unscripted with your host, the Southern Urban Voice, Mr. 2Rich. And this show is about providing you with cryptocurrency and digital asset news, education, and tips that you can use as you take this wild and exciting journey into crypto. And as always, remember, the only real color that matters is green. Let's get it. Black business shout outs from the 2Rich2Miss Unscripted YouTube show. Ready for a change in Black economics? Join the Bitcoin revolution. Bitcoin in Black America is a dynamic new book that explores the synergy between Black economics, Bitcoin, and blockchain technology. The global financial system is changing, and the digital revolution will not be televised. Explore how to incorporate Bitcoin into your business, job, and educational institution. This book also outlines the need for separation from the racist banking system and a comprehensive list of Black professionals actively working in the blockchain industry. Bitcoin in Black America. Available now where all books are sold. Black business shout outs from the 2Rich2Miss Unscripted YouTube show. All right, welcome back to the show. Be sure to always support the Black businesses that we're shouting out here on Black Business Shout Out. They are obviously definitely good, solid people. And there are products that we're actually using ourselves, and services and businesses that we use ourselves right now. So I definitely talk to them, go to their websites, buy their products and all of that. And as always, be sure to make sure that you follow me over here on Twitter. Shout out to all the new people that's following me on Twitter, and be sure to follow me on Instagram, and subscribe to the channel as well. Be sure to hit the like button. Shout out to the 95% of you guys that watch the videos that have not yet subscribed. So once again, put a comment and let me know what I can do with the content to get you to subscribe, and we can definitely make some things now happen. Let's hop right on into the markets and tell you what's going on here. Lots and lots of green on the map today. And it's always good to see green on the map, obviously, because that means when you're DCAing in, you're seeing your portfolio come up on days like today. So that's why I said it's always great to buy into red, because you start to see things start to increase. And a couple of things that I look at over here are starting to heat back up. Looks like Link is going back up over there. Ethereum is going up. The big boy Bitcoin is obviously going up as well. So that's always a wonderful thing. The market is really doing what it needs to do right now. We haven't done anything major just yet. We're really in a consolidation phase. I'm not a trader, but just kind of looking at the trends right now, we are in great buying times and great times to be DCAing in, and it's a lot of wonderful, great profit opportunities out there. But definitely DYOR to make sure that you don't get out there and get wrecked. All right, and once again, kind of going over here looking at DeFi Pulse for the total value locked in the DeFi market. Once again, this sector is still very small, as I always say. And if we look at the chart, we can see the line moving up, got about $11.2 billion total value locked. The DeFi market is definitely going to be something to keep your eyes on and to watch. So definitely DYOR over there when it comes to DeFi. When it comes to this DeFi market, there's a lot of opportunities over here. A lot of things going on. Definitely be careful as always. Watch out for those doggone food coins and all of this other crazy stuff. But yeah, there's a lot of good things going on over here in the DeFi world, and we'll do some videos about some of the stuff, and do some tutorials on some things here about DeFi to get a little bit deeper into that when we get more into our educational content. All right, let's go over here and just briefly talk about this little White House thing and this whole little stimulus thing and all of that. Honestly, at the end of the day, this is just political football. They're just kicking this thing around. They have no intentions of doing anything regarding another package of stimulus. If there really was, it would have already been done by now. This is just political football. There's nothing going to ever come of this. They're just kicking this thing around. They have their own agenda and their own reasons. Just like I was talking about when I tweeted about it on Twitter, 2Rich2Miss on Twitter. So yeah, this is just no. They got this deadline, so pretty much they can move on and start talking about something else. There's nothing going to happen with this. Now, and how this all relates to the market, honestly, of course, if there's a stimulus package, then we'll see Bitcoin pop a little bit more. But honestly, Bitcoin is destined to pop whether we get a stimulus package or not. Now, granted, yeah, with everything going on, once the stock market starts to fall apart, we'll get a little dip. But I think personally, that is when the stock market really starts to dip. This next time when it falls, I think is when we're going to really get our decoupling that we need, and Bitcoin is really going to start to stand on its own. So with all of this is going on with this article, I honestly don't believe that there's going to be anything going to happen with this. They're not going to do anything with that, and all it does is just make Bitcoin just that much better. Which kind of goes right into our next article, where they're talking about two major events that will influence the price of Bitcoin in the next 24 hours. Now, being a DCA long-term type of investor, what's happening in the next 24 hours is a wonderful thing just from a news reporting standpoint, and to just keep everybody abreast on what's happening in the world of crypto. But from a DCA standpoint, unless you're sitting on the sidelines and you hadn't gotten into the market just yet and you're just waiting for a dip, then yeah, I mean, what could happen over here in the next 24 hours? And if we do get a dip of some sort, I don't think it'll be a major dip. But even if we did get a dip that you wanted to go and buy into, if you're waiting on one of these two things, it could be something that you may find important. Now, when we're talking about, we talked about Democrat Pelosi and with her stimulus thing. That's not going to happen. But if it did happen, then obviously it's going to be something very good and positive for the market. But honestly, no, that's not going to happen. I will be so surprised if that actually happens. And then we're talking about, then they also speaking about the CBDCs. And you guys, if you've been following the channel, you know I've been talking about these CBDCs, and I definitely think they're going to be a lot more trouble than they're worth. But I know it's inevitable, and they're going to be coming irregardless. And obviously, this is I just feel like it's one of those times where we need to make sure that we have a good and solid understanding of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies and how this market really works, which is why I'll be putting out more content about some more of this stuff, because it's important that we understand, just like in my last video, these central bank digital currencies, the digital dollar or whatever they choose to call it, these are not cryptocurrencies, and they offer a high level of control that I don't think anybody is really aware of, and that's really I don't think they're really aware of it. And also I don't think people understand how quick this is going to come around. And I say that because the rest of the world is already doing this, and there's no way that the United States is going to be left behind. So what am I saying right now with this article? At the end of the day, when Powell goes down there to say whatever he say, of course, they're gonna make it sound good. This is what they do. But from an investment standpoint, and from as far as how it affects what's going on in the short term, it honestly doesn't bother me either way, because if the price goes down, it's a dip, I'm buying. If the price goes up, that's great. On long term, I'm still buying. When you're DCAing in, all these things just work in your favor, especially when you already know what your time horizon is. You just look at these little events as opportunities to just acquire more at a better price. So this is just one of those things where we gonna make money regardless, from an investment standpoint, if you're looking at this right. Let's press on. Now, talking about the Bitcoin ETF, this is something that's been floating around for a long time in the crypto space. I heard them talking about it for quite some time. And the Bitcoin ETF is another one of those things that's inevitable, because we have the Grayscale Trust. They're very popular. You got accredited investors now that are really asking questions, and most of them aren't going to want to own a wallet and and have their own keys. They prefer to pay somebody to do that. So accredited investors are also making a little bit of noise, I believe, in the background as well. So I think it's inevitable to come around, for no other reason, just to service a particular market of accredited investors that aren't going to take the time to own their own keys and own their own wallets and all of that type of thing. And once again, what does it do for Bitcoin? It just makes everything so much greater. And this article really just kind of goes through to reiterate what I've been talking about through all of today's episode. Bitcoin is in a wonderful position, and the stock market is always have a hedge. You want to make sure that you have a hedge. You want to make sure that, especially if you've been really profitable in the stock market, make sure you take some profits and have a hedge, because there's going to be a lot of sick people when the stock market takes this tank, and the crypto market stabilizes and start to press up, and the people who did not take profits or who have not insulated themselves are going to really feel the pinch for a minute. So not saying that the stock market is not going to go back up, but the stock market has been pumping for a while. And what goes up does come down. So, and I just have this article up. Just this guy, Anthony Pompliano, reveals that he has 80% of his wealth in Bitcoin, which of course we're not talking about do what he's doing, but something's going on, and there's a lot of people out here who know something that perhaps we don't know. This chart right here kind of goes through to reiterate kind of what we're talking about, what I was talking about as far as with the stock market. Now, I was on this particular site with the Daily Hodl, and I thought this chart was really good. And it just kind of goes through and talk about right here in 1929 and 1930. This is the top of the rally in the stock market, and right before it plunged. And then 2000 to 2001, same thing right here. Kind of, you see it kind of had all this rally right up there, kind of plateaued a little bit right there, and then it all just woof, and then it dropped off. So now we're looking at where we're at right here. And then, as I've kind of said before, and I've mentioned briefly and not really went into a lot of detail with it, the stock market is propped up right now by the Federal Reserve. It is what it is. You know, but there's nothing else happening with the rest of us to keep these businesses going and to put anything fresh in there. That's why our GDP is so high. There's no spending. There's no spending happening. So companies are contracting. So when the Fed stops buying up all of this debt, buying up all of this bad corporate debt, and doing everything that they're doing, we're going to start to see this little line right here where it says 2020 when you're watching the video. We're going to start to see this start to come down and mimic these other patterns that we've seen in the past. So hedge your bets, protect yourself in your portfolio, and do not get yourself caught out there. Bitcoin right now, we are looking at $11,631 at the time of this video. Ethereum at $382.08. And even if we were to go through and just look at the Bitcoin chart, I mean, you know, this thing has been doing a-okay. I mean, you know, this is the all-time. Let's go to the 1 year. This is what Bitcoin has been doing for a 1 year period. So, I mean, hey, look at what we got here. And this is where we are right now. Even with this dip right here, you know, we have still moved on the way we need, moved on to good places, and we still got a good, wonderful ways to go. So, I mean, hey, Bitcoin is doing what it needs to do. Even just looking at the last 6 months, and now we're in a wonderful, wonderful time right now. You know, before we get to before everything really starts to pop. So, DCA is the way. Bitcoin is definitely one of the ones that obviously that I'm long in. One of the many things that I'm long in. I do mess around in the altcoin forest and in the DeFi as well. But I wouldn't be giving you cryptocurrency news if I wasn't actually in this cryptocurrency market as well. So before I go, be sure to make sure you go and follow me on Twitter. All of the articles that we talked about today will be on my Twitter feed and already are. Be sure to check out the store and get your merch. For the 2Rich2Miss podcast, we have more merch that's going to be on that site as well. New website is going to be coming around. And if you do ever want to get this voice for yourself, you can always go to www.southernurbanvoice.com and you can book me directly or send me a message, send me an email right there, or you can go right over to hit me on any of my social media platforms On Facebook, Southern Urban Voice. On Instagram, Southern Urban Voice. And on Twitter, Richard Hawks 2. We will catch you tomorrow on tomorrow's episode to bring you the latest in the crypto news that you can use. And always remember, the only real color that